Hey guys, the WalterFootball.com After Dark show for November 24th, 2024. We're going to be doing the Week 12 NFL picks, the final thoughts for our YouTube channel. Also, at the end, we're going to do a bonus Mega Man 2 robot just prediction or just a bracket here. You'll see at the end. It'll be at the very end, so it won't interfere with the football stuff. So looking forward to this episode. So please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit the link in the description for the merch store. As you can see on the screen here, I have the Biden pooped his pants shirt. You can get that and many other shirts at the Walter Football merch store. As you can see, we have a new we have the apron. The apron is back. The Butker was right apron, now with the football going right of the upright. So a recommendation from Aton from Odd Shopper, so shout out to Aton. So yeah, you can get this apron. You can also get our new shirt, Squirrel Lives Matter. So shout out to Peanut, the squirrel who was assassinated by the New York government. So you can get that. You support your show your support for Peanut and the raccoon friend who died as well as all these other shirts. We have a 25% off sale. So these shirts are like between $15 and $18. There's like one or two exceptions. The apron's $23. It's more expensive to make, but we have all these shirts. And if you guys have any more recommendations, I want to do some more mugs and some other stuff too. So just let me know. You can go to Amazon, buy my books. The most recent one is Jerks of the College Years, where I made fun of people at Penn State. I spent 6 years there, so I had a lot of material. How the 2020 MVP was stolen. That was my second book, where it's a story, if you guys haven't heard it. It's where Brett Favre tried to sabotage Aaron Rodgers' MVP in 2020, and so I wrote an expose on that. So you can check that out as well. The best way to support the show is super chats, super stickers. We had some great ones this week. We had John Sanders, Can't Make an Eagle, Jesse Cintron, Slew in the past, and we had Dro Flow Show's wife gave us a super chat, $9.99 on Tuesday, which is great. And then so all that would be any further super chats, super stickers would be really appreciated, because as I always say, YouTube ads pay absolutely nothing. So let's get into the show. Our co-host tonight, Quacky T, back from his hiatus last week, where we had internet connection issues and we couldn't even hear each other. So we're like, how can we do a show if we can't hear each other? So Quacky's back this week. Excited to have him on. How's it going, Quacky?
Walter, here we are again, and a big hello to the Walter football family joining us. I'm back after a week of technical difficulties, and holy cow, I actually had a great day in college football. I took all the animals, the Gators, the Gophers, and the Beavers. They all came through today. You think, there's too many animals sometimes. I read somewhere that there's like 23,000 like species of just dragonflies. How can that be? I understand there's like a whole ecosystem and everything, but I don't know, man. Maybe there's too many animals out there. But that's
you sound like one of those evil Disney villains who wants to burn down the rainforest.
No, I don't no, but I just mean it's crazy to think that there's that many. But anyhow,
there's too many animals. You have to kill the rainforest.
No, it's just crazy to think about how many there are. I've been doing all right. I've been getting the hot hand lately. I wasn't on the show last week because I was having network connectivity issues, and then we went 4-1 in the Super Contest, and we've kind of had the hot hand since. I've been rolling into this weekend. I did really well on Thursday night, so I'm hoping we can keep it going. But otherwise, let's see. I've started watching Batman Forever a few times, and that's about all I've had going on.
Wait. Why are you watching Batman Forever a few times? like once, like you said once. I'd be like, why'd you watch it so many times? Like you watch it.
Well, I kind of forgot about it. It's one of those movies that I liked as a kid, and then later when I watched it again, I felt embarrassed that I liked it. And then, now I like it for different reasons. It has a cult following because it's bad cinema, if you will. But we can get into that at the end. I'm excited to get into the picks with you this week, Walt. Hopefully, we can keep our hot streak going.
I have to ask you before we start, did you watch Clue? Because I asked you like 3 times last week.
Oh, shoot. No, I didn't. But I didn't watch Batman Forever.
See, here we go. Like I said, watch Clue 3 times, and you were like, you talked up Memento, and so I watched it last night. And
no, so, you did not.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Oh man, now I feel bad. You're outing me on a public. You're outing me on the information superhighway for being a bad friend, and I feel shy.
I'm not a bad friend. You just didn't get around to watching it. But
I know.
Memento's pretty good. I liked it a lot actually. Like,
okay.
I love how like it it got the two storylines like met in the middle from when it went backward to forward, and I actually thought that it would be that I don't want to spoil it. Spoiler alert.
Yeah,
I thought he would was the one who actually killed his wife. But still, it had a cool twist though. But no, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Okay, I solemnly pledge I will watch Clue before next week's show. I will do it. It'll be done.
All right.
All
right. Well, okay.
Oh boy.
On that note,
let's get into it.
On that note, let's get into the games. We had the Lions at the Colts. First game here. So the spread is 7 or 7.5, depending where you look right now. It's mostly 7.5s out there. South Point has a 7 for those in Las Vegas. Heritage has 7 plus 112, or 7 minus 108, I should say, if you like the Lions. But it's mostly 7.5. I still like the Colts here. Now it may seem very dangerous to fade the Lions, and we talked about potentially taking the Colts in the Super Contest, and we backed off a little bit. Aton was a lot higher on the Colts, so it's a shame that we didn't get a 3-man conversation last night, because maybe he could have talked us into it. I say that, and like hopefully they don't lose. The Colts don't lose like 34-10 or something. But this is an awful spot for the Lions. And the Colts have played nothing but close games. Like their biggest loss was by 10 to Buffalo, and that was with Joe Flacco throwing 3 interceptions, just being a disaster. Lions won't be without Alex Anzalone. They won't be without Terry Arnold. They won't have, obviously, Aiden Hutchinson's out. They won't have Ifeatu Melifonwu, who's a really good safety. So they're down 4 starters on defense. Still a great team, still the best team in the NFL. But with all those missing starters, maybe the Colts sneak in there and get the cover. I don't think I have any for player props. For player props, I'm taking Amon-Ra St. Brown to score a touchdown. He's caught more passes against zone defenses, and the Colts play zone at one of the highest clips in the NFL. He scored touchdowns in 8 consecutive games, and it's only minus 125 on FanDuel. So I'm taking that. So what are your thoughts on this game?
Oh boy. I think it's the Colts or nothing here for me. I do like this spot, with the Lions are heading into their annual Thanksgiving game. And remember, they lost last year to Green Bay. I don't know, that game is just kind of, whether they're good or bad, it's always just like a staple of like the NFL season, the Detroit game on Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. And it is a divisional game against the Bears. I don't know. They've been mowing down everybody. It seems I actually like the under in this game too, maybe because they've been scoring so much. I think people think that might I think there's something to that angle too. I don't think this will be as high scoring. Maybe, but I'm also not going to take the Lions. I don't like to back a team where what is it, like 90% of the money is on the Lions. I'll never take a team that's that publicly backed. I think the Lions are the best team in the NFL, but this spot just seems weird. I would take the Colts here, maybe for a unit, but probably no more than that at this point.
Yeah, I'm seeing about 84% of the money on the Lions. Yes, I'm saying it's still way too high.
A lot, yeah. I mean,
anything more than 80 is too high. If it's like 75, I think it's okay. But once you get to 80-20, that's the general rule. 80-20, you fade the team getting the 80. It doesn't work every time. In fact, it probably works just slightly more than half the time. But
right, but but then at the same time, I mean, the Lions are a team that could that threw 5 interceptions and still want to get it's so they could definitely cover too. I like this a little more a couple days ago or last night when we talked. I don't like it as much anymore, but I think I'd go to the Colts. I think I'd take the Colts, if anything.
What changed that you don't like it as much?
Well, I mean, it's just the Lions just might be that good. Well, I mean, I think they are that good, but like maybe they're not as apt to have a letdown spot as maybe other teams, you know what I mean, that are doing really well. So
okay.
I don't know. I mean, like we've seen them mow down some really bad teams, but I think the Colts are better. Who did they really crush? Dallas and Tennessee and the Jaguars, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, they've crushed the bad teams. 26-20 over the Rams, then they lost to Tampa where they weren't focused. They beat Arizona by 3. They beat Seattle by 13. They beat Dallas by 38 points. They beat Minnesota by 2, Tennessee by 38. They beat the Packers by 10. Jordan Love injured in that game, by the way. They beat Houston by 3 and then Jacksonville by 46. So not like the most impressive wins. They had a couple good wins in there. Beating the Rams when the Rams had healthy receivers, for example, that was good. And then that Arizona win looks more impressive each week. Where like back then we're like, they beat Arizona, who cares? Like now that's looking a lot better because Arizona has been proven to be a much better team than people thought. So, it's not like they played all cupcakes or anything, So I think but then again, they haven't blown out a good team yet. I guess the Packers by 10 and Seahawks by 13. I guess you could say those are the two best teams they've beaten by double digits. But
I guess I just feel like people, the instinct of the public might be like, oh, like the Colts are bad too. Like they've been like just crushing everybody. Like the Colts are better than all three of those teams that got crushed. So they could definitely keep this close, I think.
Yeah.
But I don't love it.
Vanderbilt covered. Sue pointing out I was watching that. they what's it called? LSU got down to they got a 1st and goal with like a minute left. But yeah, Vanderbilt covered +8. They lost by 7. So
beautiful call, man. Great call.
Nice. Yeah, 3-2 on the week. Not amazing, but keep going 3-2 every week. You're gonna make good money. So I think we're 38-27 in college football picks this year. So
nice.
having a solid year. All right. Next game is Chiefs at the Panthers. This line's 11 or so. Don't really see much here. In fact, for player props, I didn't see anything. I was actually looking for Jatavian Sanders over receiving yards because the Chiefs allow a lot of production to tight ends. There wasn't anything on Friday. While you're talking, I'm going to look to see if anything's been added. But I can't get myself to bet this game. And the Chiefs really don't cover by margin or win by margin a lot. And so it's hard to back them in the regular season. Their offense can be so sluggish, although they signed DJ Humphries, so maybe it'll be better. I don't know if he's going to play this week, but eventually, he's going to help, I think. But the thing is here, it's like, so do you take the Panthers and do you want to put your hard-earned money on Bryce Young? Like would it surprise you at all if this is like 34-9? Like, I wouldn't surprise me. So I can't get myself to bet this game. I'm seeing, I said I'd look at it while you talk. I actually looked at it. Jatavian Sanders over 20.5 receiving yards. Actually, no, 19.5 receiving yards, -115 at Bet Rivers is the best one right now. So I will be betting that. But otherwise, I'm staying away from this game. What do you like here?
Yeah, I mean, if I had to take anything, it would be the Panthers, but I'm not going to touch this game at all. Just because, I mean, like I like the way you put it. What it could be like 34-9 easily.
Yeah,
easily. But I'm not going to touch this one. I think that everyone's going to, obviously think that Kansas City, given that they just lost their first game last week, is going to bounce back. But, as I feel like this is, not like maybe a common opinion. I don't think Kansas City is as good as their record indicates. But I really like them next week against the Raiders on Black Friday. So I wonder if they're going to be barring some sort of catastrophic injury in this game, I will really like the Chiefs next week. So I don't know. I mean, any other team, I could see them. Maybe they could possibly look past them, but this is the Panthers, and they've just been so. I don't even know what to say about this team. So Panthers for office pool purposes, but I'm not going to touch this one.
I'll say that the Panthers aren't as bad defensively as people might think because, well, they're still bad. Don't get me wrong, but they got DJ Wanham back right before the bye against the Giants. He's actually a good pass rusher. They haven't had any pass rushing presence at all. They're last in pressure rate, but they got him back for the first time all year. So he was out before the start of the season. So they actually got pressure on Daniel Jones. So they could get to Mahomes a little bit here. I talked about how the Chiefs have blocking issues, but then again, like I said, Bryce Young, I just can't get on him here. If Andy Dalton were starting, would you have any interest in the Panthers, or would it still be a stay away for you?
Yeah, I can't bring myself to touch this one. I don't think.
I think if it was Dalton, I think I might have like a 1-unit bet on the Panthers or something.
Mm-hmm.
Something small, but nothing substantial though.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. If the Panthers do keep, in the event they do keep this close, if it's a 3-point game or something like that, then I will really like Kansas City the following week.
Okay, it makes sense. Yeah, the Raiders are horrible, and I do think that you're right about their mindset in that game. All right, so Vikings at Bears. This game keeps ping ponging between 3.5 and 3. It just seems like people can't make up their minds here, and there's been sharp money on both sides, so the sharps can't decide. I think you could make a good case for both teams. For Minnesota, it's Brian Flores versus Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams against the blitz is bad. First of all, and Brian Flores can really confuse rookie quarterbacks. So I can see Caleb Williams just having an awful game. But then for the Bears, you could say they're 4-6, but if it wasn't for those two special teams results, not special teams, but the last play of the game results, with the Hail Mary and then the blocked field goal, they'd be 6-4 instead of 4-6. If they're 6-4, this line would not be 3 or 3.5. It'd be 1.5 or something. And so it feels like we're getting good value with Chicago. But again, Caleb Williams just has this awful matchup. And so I can't get myself to back Chicago, but I don't want to take the bad line value with Minnesota. So I don't know what to do with this game. Outside of taking Aaron Jones over rushing yards, the Bears have allowed 65 rushing yards or more to an opponent in their previous 4 games. And the prop is only at 60.5. So I don't understand why it's so low. Bears is just bad against the run. So I'm taking Jones over. But outside of that, I'm not betting this game. So do you like any side here?
I like the Bears here. And I'm going to piggyback on what you were saying about how they could easily be 6-4. I mean, that how many times is that field goal going to get blocked against the Packers? And it should have been a penalty. As a Packers fan, that should have been a penalty. Mm-hmm. I in my opinion. So they could have won that game. Obviously, the Hail Mary, 99 times out of 100, that doesn't work. Right. Give or take. So they could easily be 6-4. They lost to the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are pretty good. And then the only loss of the 4 that they've lost in a row that I can really say wow, that was bad was against the Patriots. They should have won that game. But I like them here. I just think imagine they were a 6-4 team with those plays, and the Vikings, they started out really hot, but their stock, I just feel like their stock, as we've seen in recent years, is just is not on the rise. They just seem like they've been getting worse. Let's look at their schedule. Who have they beaten? I feel like any of the brand name teams that they've beaten were under circumstances that were not that were a little bit they beat the Packers, but Jordan Love was just coming back and they still almost let him come back on him. I don't know. They covered against the Colts, but it was still a decently close game. Come on, they put 12 points against the Jaguars. They still covered on the Super Contest card, but and then Tennessee, they covered last week too against Tennessee, but it's I don't know, for as good as they're purported to be, they should have done better. And at the end of the day, it's still Sam Darnold, and he's regressed. You know what I mean? And I just think about a couple years ago. Remember they were winning all those games, and the year they lost to the Giants in the first round of the playoffs, they were every win was a one possession win that year, and I just feel they're just heading downhill all season. I felt and then they lost their first playoff game to the Giants. I think it's much more likely that the Vikings, sorry, Matthias, and at the end of the season we're going to say they're kind of pretenders, maybe. So I think that's possible. So I like the Bears here. It's a bit of an against the grain pick, but I like them a decent bit.
Well, I'll say this. I think that what you said is at the beginning about how some of their wins were circumstantial. I think that's to a point you're right, but on the other hand, I think that they were a lot better to start the year because they had Christian Darrisaw, and then losing him, I just think that's made their team worse. And so the fact that they almost beat Detroit, I thought that was pretty impressive. Granted, it was at home, and they blew out Houston, and Houston was coming off a primetime win, right? But they still destroyed them. So I thought that they had some really good performances early in the year. But ever since that Rams game, right before halftime, it really shouldn't have been a play. If they just kneeled down, it wouldn't have happened. When they lost Darisaw, their offense just got so much worse. And so you see the 12-point result against Jacksonville. You see the game against the Colts where they struggled to score until the end. And then you see against Tennessee 23 points where, it felt like it should have been more. So this team is worse than it was ever since that Thursday night game. And you're like, I totally understand what you're saying with like trying to fade Minnesota, like with them being overrated. And I agree. I think that like you're 100% correct on that. But, with you liking Chicago, how concerned are you about the Caleb Williams matchup? Because like that is my hang up. So if you can make me feel better about that, then I will be betting Chicago with you. But I can't get there. So like what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't know if I have any. It's just a quacky feeling. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like Darnold has regressed here, and I want him to do well. Like you know what I mean. But like let's look at his career, like from like the timeline of his career, like up until like he's had like 6 or 7 good games, and we're like, is that really enough to be? And maybe it could. Maybe he really did turn it around. But for me, like I need to see more.
Yeah.
I definitely think it's possible, and like the Bears being, like I mean I think you could make an argument. Well, I'm not going to say it. Never mind. I like the Bears.
You have to say what?
Nothing. No. These teams are closer in ability.
Okay.
I can't take it, man. I don't want anyone trying. I'm just kidding. I like Chicago here, so.
John says he saw Gladiator 2, was not entertained. Please tell us why, John, because Gladiator 1 was amazing. I wonder why 2 was not good. Dro Fascio 2190 says, Walt, you said you're not good with total points. I think I'm like close to 500 this year. I think I might be exactly 500 on total points this year. Let me see. I can pull it up right now. On totals this year, I am 82, 82, and 2. So
wow.
Flip a coin there. Okay,
That's
but how
impressive.
about the under in this one? I wrote over on the site. I thought the number was a little low. Now, like I said, I don't like the Caleb Williams matchup, but that could lead to turnovers. And so, turn the ball over in your own territory, it's going to lead to points very quickly. The killer for totals is, long drive, turnover in the red zone. Like that destroys overs. So it depends where Caleb Williams turns the ball over. That's why I hate totals so much, because like a lot of it's contingent on the turnovers, but then you don't know where the turnover is going to take place. And so you bet the over on like 2 really good offenses. They one offense has an 8-minute drive and then they stall at the 1 or something, and then it's like, and then the other offense takes over. They have an 8-minute drive and then they go into field goal range. They miss a field goal. It's like, like come on, man. Like, so I despise totals unless we're talking like really bad weather. Like I'm talking like 25-mile-an-hour winds. Then you take the under. I think the best example of this was I was still like this is right after I graduated college. I was still living with my parents. And I was walking their dogs, and like the wind was so fierce. Like when I was walking my dogs, it almost knocked me over. And I'm not a skinny dude. And so like I was like, man, the Eagles play in this in an hour. Like, how are they going to score any points? I can barely walk in this. So I bet like that was my biggest over under bet, and I won. Like there was barely any points in that game. That's awesome. That's the only time I'll really bet a total. But did you have any take on a total in this game?
What are you talking? Minnesota and the Bears? No,
yeah, Minnesota
but
Bears 41.
I don't, but I am interested in that under. I did mention it, but I like it a good bit because I don't do a lot of totals either. That Colts Lions under 50.5. I think that's a good like against the grain pick because Detroit's been putting up 50 burgers themselves. I think over seems a little easy. I like the under. I might take the under in that game, Colts and Lions. So
okay. All right. So yeah, like I said, I don't touch that stuff, but there will be rare occasions. All right.
I wouldn't touch the stuff. It's like you said, it's like the Derek.
Yeah, that's true.
I was the 2-time Dare free throw champion at my school. I had it 2 years and I won it back to back. I could shoot some free throws, man.
That's right.
My illustrious Dare foul championship career.
That's right. I felt like I would have been good at free throws too. I never went to the free throw line. I played pickup basketball in like in like refereed leagues for like 4 or 5 years. I never went to the free throw line. I was just like 3-and-D guy. And like I swear I was shot at 3 once, and the guy like wrecked like knocked me in the head. I fell down and there was no foul. I'm like ref, like what the hell, man? But no, there's this one guy on my team. I said this before. He was like, if we're just playing pickup, like just us like messing around, he could hit like 30 free throws in a row. Like this guy was just like great. When in the league, his free throw percentage must have been like 5%. Like he just choked like crazy. He couldn't like he would airball stuff. It was insane.
Wow.
I was like, dude, like what are you doing? Like you can hit this. Like you can do it. And I'm like, he's like, oh man, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me. Like he just got like so psyched out.
Permanent yips, like in a way.
It's crazy.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and then the next day we go mess around at the playground. He'd hit everything again. It's like what happened? There's not like it's not like we had a 20-person crowd. It wasn't like full stands either. You know?
Yeah. That's interesting. I don't know. Nerves like never really. I remember one of my favorite coaches. It was my last year like playing like basketball for my school. It was 9th grade, and I was just like a role player off the bench. Like I knew, I would like, maybe score like maybe average like 2 points a game. Mm-hmm. But we had a rival, like our biggest rival in high school. We were playing. We were on the road against our biggest rival, and I had 2 points in the game, and it's 2 free throws. And our coach, I mean, he hated this team, and he was screaming like before I shot either of the free throws. He's screaming from the sidelines, "Prove your manhood! Prove your manhood!" And I was like, "Guess what? Sunk them both, man." I guess that's like Mike Gundy. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Yeah,
you can either be
40.
Like
60 now.
Yeah, I think that was like 2006 or 2007. Yeah, he's 2007, I think it was. Wow, he's like 57, I guess now.
He's 57, yeah.
Wow. But yeah, so either you wait till you turn 40 or you hit those free throws like I did. Wow. But I probably couldn't say that now, I guess. Huh?
I've been playing basketball in my 40s. I'm 42 now. I haven't played since before COVID, and it's nothing to do with COVID. It's just, well, obviously people had to stop during COVID. But like, my back has just gotten so bad. I just can't play basketball anymore. Plus, I have kids. I can't even like go around and just shoot around. I barely have time to work out. I like get to the gym once per week. Whereas before I had kids, I go to the gym like all but once per week, and now it's like completely flipped. But John says it wasn't awful, but just too similar to the original. It's still worth seeing for Denzel Washington. Denzel's cool. I don't know. It's just too similar. Okay. I mean, like, why make a carbon copy version of like the first one? Just watch the first one again. You know what I mean? Like why watch the similar?
No, like new originals. You can't be like everything's got to be a franchise or a remake. Yeah. Just make a new original like standalone movie.
Yeah, it was like Star Wars Episode 7. It was the carbon copy of Episode 4. It's just a lot worse, you know. Just watch Episode 4 again.
Just a lot worse.
That's what it was.
I saw the original 4, 5, and 6, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, and I saw Episode 1 in theaters in 8th grade, and I couldn't take it anymore. I like the original 3-star, and I know people love it, but I just. It was good, but I'm not that into it.
Episode 2 was the worst of the prequels. It was horrible. 3 was pretty decent. I thought if you were to rank all the movies, I think 3 was the 4th best one after the 3 originals. Then I put 3 and then 1, then 2, and then 7 and then 8. I haven't seen 9. 9 is 8 was so bad I couldn't bear to watch 9.
And I mean, it's just like, and again, I don't know because I haven't watched them. So someone will say, well, you don't understand. Yeah, I have probably my own movies and shows that I feel the same way about. But it's like, how many times can you tell the same story? Yeah, it's like Planet of the Apes. They're like that's another one. Like they're making this is like the 9th time they've been remaking this for 20 years. Horrible. And the original is a classic. Yeah, but it's just like, who's really going to see these? I guess people are. I guess
to keep making them, people are. I don't understand it at all. All right, let's get to Cowboys at Redskins here. Redskins were -10. We locked it in, and correct to do so because it's gone to 10.5. Or there's some 11s out there now. So if you haven't locked this in yet, I would do it now because I think this is going to climb before kickoff. So I think people are kind of understanding how bad Dallas is. I think I don't understand what took them so long, but Dallas is going to miss Zach. Zach Martin's definitely out. Trevon Diggs definitely out. Brandon Cooks definitely out. Deron Bland's coming back, but still, I don't know if he's going to be 100%. We don't know if Tyler Smith's going to play. That's a big one, too. So we'll know before kickoff. But I feel like even if he plays, they're going to rush him back because he barely practiced all week. And I feel like it's going to be out of desperation. Dallas is either Dallas or Jacksonville is like the worst team in the NFL. Just an awful quarterback situation against the Redskins, who have a good defense. And by the way, Dan Quinn knows the Dallas team pretty well. So revenge game for him. I like Washington at minus 13.5. I like Washington at minus 19.5. And I think I'm going to take a little bet on Washington minus 27.5. Wow. So player props. We're going to fade Dallas's horrible run defense, just like we did Monday night. We're going to bet Brian Robinson to go over 70.5 rushing yards. We're also going to bet Brian Robinson to score 1 touchdown and 2 touchdowns. So everything Washington here. What are your thoughts on this game?
Give me the Washington Hockey Club. Yeah, man. Don't take the Cowboys. They're so bad. Don't take them the rest. The only time, I would suggest taking them is if they fire McCarthy midseason, maybe take him the game after. But that's it. This team's, just do not. Give me the Washington Hockey Club.
Yep. This is a horrible team. It's a shame Jacksonville's not playing this week. All right. We have Tampa Buccaneers at the Giants. The Buccaneers here.
The Buccaneers. That's right.
They are minus 6 at the Giants. We had some injury news as a positive. Well, first of all, it sounds like Mike Evans is going to play, but the Buccaneers are getting Jamel Dean back, their top corner. On the downside, they're not going to have Tristan Wirfs, and the Giants are going to have Kayvon Thibodeau back. So that worries me a little bit, but I still locked in Tampa. I still like Tampa a lot here. You have Tommy DeVito, who was the 4th worst quarterback by metrics last year. The only quarterbacks worse than him last year were Zach Wilson, Trevor Siemian, and Bailey Zappi. Just awful quarterbacks here. And Todd Bowles generally eats up bad quarterbacks. So he really struggles against good quarterbacks, but against bad quarterbacks past 2 years, he's done very well. 5-2 straight up against the spread. And one of those was against Justin Fields. So if you want to include him, 4-2, but still, like, DeVito is one of the worst quarterbacks he'll have seen in the past couple of years. So you gotta think that he's going to dominate this matchup, especially with the top cornerback back from injury. For the player props, I bet Theo Johnson over 21.5 receiving yards. Tampa is another team that's really bad against tight ends. All right, so what do you like this game?
Tommy DeVito. Please, come on! Don't give me the Bucks. There's just, this Giants team is phoning it in. Wasn't the locker room like upset about the Daniel Jones thing? Like they're just not. They're terrible with him, and now like they can't even get behind. And like the Tommy DeVito, I remember I was telling you yesterday they were like, I think he's like a fan favorite there. I remember they did like a little piece on him because I think he won a couple games when he was in there. What was that, last year, right?
Yeah, but, they beat Washington with a horrible Washington team after they traded everyone, and then they beat the Packers on Monday Night Football, but they got slaughtered in other games.
Yeah, the only argument I can make for the Giants is that like this to me the Bucs seem really easy. That's the only like hesitation I would have here, but it's like this Bucs team just like took the Chiefs to overtime. Like I don't know, like what I don't know. I really like the Bucs here. But maybe I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, look, they took the Chiefs to overtime, and they almost beat San Francisco without Mike Evans, and now they get Evans back, and then they get Jamil Dean back. So John's saying I feel better about the Redskins if we knew how Daniels' ribs are. Well, here's the thing: like he's had 9 days to recover, which is like almost a bye week, so he's at least going to be that much better. Maybe he's not 100%, but. You did have the Redskins win 40-7 over the Panthers earlier this year with Mariota. So if they could beat the worst team in the NFL back then, 40-7, I feel like they can beat the worst with their backup quarterback. I feel like they could beat the worst team in the NFL by that similar margin with a slightly injured quarterback. I don't think Daniels is going to be that bad this week. I think he's going to be a lot better than we saw in Week 11. But that's speculation. We don't know that for sure. But again, 9 days off is like an eternity for these great athletes. All right, so Patriots at the Dolphins here. So I like New England. We have Miami heading into Thanksgiving night against the better team in the Packers. They already beat the Patriots with their backup quarterbacks. So if I'm a Dolphin player, I'm like, yeah, we already beat this team with Huntley. We have the Packers coming up. Like we have to focus on that game a little bit more. And then Miami has Drake May, who's better than Jacoby Brissett. New England has May, who's better than Brissett. New England also has some players back from injury. They have Kendrick Bourne, who didn't play the first time. Obviously, May, who didn't play the first time. Christian Barmore, he's questionable, but he came back last week. He didn't play. They had some safety issues too. I believe Kyle Duggar was out for that game, not sure, but he's back as well. So this Patriot team is not nearly as bad as it was back then. Like back then, you could argue they were the worst team in the NFL, not named the Panthers. Now I think you put them like in the mid-20s in your power rankings. Like they're not a good team by any means, but they're not an awful team. And their past 4 games, ever since they lost in London to the Jaguars, they beat the Jets. They went to overtime against Tennessee. They beat the Bears, and then they stayed within 6 of the Rams. So I think this team can compete with a Miami team that has not been impressive this year. Like Miami's most impressive game this year, I feel like, is their loss to Buffalo the second time. And they got blown out by Buffalo in week 2. Like otherwise, like they beat the Rams on Monday night, but they got outgained by 100 yards. Like it was just the Rams self-destructing with stupid mistakes. And like the offensive linemen came back and they didn't have like the good protections. The Raiders, they had trouble putting the Raiders away last week. And the Raiders are worse than the Patriots. So you have the look ahead here. You have a slightly better team. I actually think like might be substantially better team. I think the Raiders are awful. So yeah, I think this line's a little too high too. Like I love New England here. What do you think?
I really have no opinion either way. I think both these teams have been hard for me to figure out this year, and I'm not going to touch this with 30-foot pole.
Okay.
So sorry to let you down.
Damn it, Tom.
This will be my last show, I guess. I'll be kicked out.
You're fired. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry over receiving yards. Another bad tight end, or good, I should say, good tight end matchup for the tight end. Bad tight end matchup for the defense. 41.5 is definitely doable. Remember Monday night 2 weeks ago, Davis Allen had this good game. And like there's so much excitement about Davis Allen last week. Everyone played him at the minimum or whatever he was. And then I think he caught like 1 pass or maybe no passes. That just shows you how bad Miami's defense is against tight ends. So Hunter Henry has been a beast at times this year, despite being like 30 or 31. So he should still have a good game here. I like him quite a bit. Any concern about Christian Gonzalez being added to the injury report on Friday? Christian Gonzalez hasn't played well this year, so not really. The Patriots, I feel like they can be fine without him. Like he's not been nearly as good as he was last year. So no, not really. I mean, ideally I'd want him to play, but I still would like New England quite a bit here. All right, let's get to the final game of the early slate. We have Tennessee at Houston. Texans are favored by 8. I like Houston here. You have Will Levis against a top 10 defense, which might mean more interceptions. I would love to bet the over half interception for Levis, but it's up to like minus 175, just like too much. Although it's probably like free money, but still, you never know. Like maybe there'll be like 3 dropped interceptions or something. But no, I like Houston. Like Houston hasn't played Tennessee yet, so this is not going to be like a revenge spot, like a flat spot or whatever for Houston. And the Texans, they're going to have Nico Collins back 100%. They're going to have Will Anderson back, so a big deal for the defense. A defense that gets a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and Will Levis is awful against pressure. He just takes way too many sacks. He holds the ball forever. I don't see how Tennessee keeps this close outside of like fluky turnovers or whatever. So yeah, I like Houston here for props. I actually didn't see anything for props, so I stayed away from that. And before we get to what you think, Joe Fascio, $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much, Joe. It says last week Texans over 13.5 points in the first half worked well. They got in the first quarter. Is there value on the same bet this week plus 105? So Texans over 13.5 in the first half. Yeah, I think so. Like I think people are misreading Tennessee's defense. Everyone I talk to, like about like if I talk to like a casual fan about the Titans or something, if they come up in the conversation, they'll be like, "Oh, Titans, good defense," which was the case to start the year, but they lost their top two outside corners, Chidobe Awuzie and L'Jarius Sneed. They're both on IR now. And they may not have their slot corner, Roger McCreary. So that might be down their top three corners. They lost their top linebacker, Ernest Jones. They traded him. And they lost their next linebacker. Name's escaping me. I have it right here. Let me see. He's a young player who's just come on. Jack Gibbons. Jack Gibbons has been like pretty good. He's out as well. So this defense is like still good against the run because they have Sweat and Simmons. But outside of that, like they can't stop the pass at all. So I like Collins getting healthier. Stroud, I feel like has something to prove after some like mediocre games. I like this. I think this could definitely hit. So I'm in favor of it. So what are your thoughts on this bet and Houston, Tennessee overall? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'd definitely be inclined to take the over 13.5 as well. There's no reason to take the Titans here. I saw this ad earlier. Will Levis is on an ad for mayonnaise. Oh, I freaking hate mayonnaise too. And that made me, I saw that ad today. I don't like mayonnaise at all. And then I saw that ad today and I was like, I definitely would never take the Titans. It was a sign. Don't take the Titans. I take the Texans. I mean, what have they shown that has other than like a fluke, I don't know, maybe it's a division game. Maybe it's going to be close. As they sometimes are. Yeah, and then sometimes they're also freaking blowouts. And like other than like a crazy fluke or like trap, like that's the only argument I could really come up with here for the Titans to they're just outclassed. They've shown me absolutely nothing to inspire any bit of confidence in me. I like the Texans here.
Here is a question for you, and don't feel bad if you don't know it because I'm looking this up right now. How many times have the Titans covered the spread this year against teams that are currently over 500, or let's just say 500 or better?
I'll say once.
Once, okay. Let me make this. It's happened. They currently have games against 6 teams that are currently 500 or better. So you would say they're 1-5.
1-5. I'll say 1-5.
Well, you are way too bullish on Tennessee. They're 0-6 against the spread. Teams that are only 500 or better. Let me read you the rundown. They lost 30-14 to the Packers. They lost. Actually, I think I counted that correctly. All right, so they lost 34-10 to Buffalo. They lost 52-14 against Detroit. They lost 27-17 against the Chargers, which was really 27-10 until the final minute. They lost 23-13 to the Vikings. I'm sorry, I miscounted one of the games. So it's really 0-5. Sorry, not.
Okay, well, it's still not good. So
no, and it's just too big of a disparity between these teams. I think.
I think so too.
Yeah, exactly. So Joe Fast Show, thank you for the super chat.
Yeah, thank you.
Crap, I love mayo. I'm so torn out. Look, some people like mayo, some people don't like mayo. Whatever. I don't like mayo, but what bothers me about mayo and also mustard and stuff like that is like if you go to McDonald's or Wendy's or whatever and you order a cheeseburger, like they will automatically put all that stuff on. They'll put the ketchup on, they'll put like the tomatoes and lettuce on. Like I feel like the standard should just be plain. And you're like, I would like to add mayo and mustard, whatever. Like because like you can always add it. Like you can always have that at home. They have those packets. You can add whatever. But like if they put it on, if you ask for plain and they forget and they put it on, like you can't. The sandwich is ruined. Like you can't take it off because you're always going to taste it. Like mayo makes me gag. I can't eat it.
Yeah.
And so if I get a cheeseburger and they have mayo on, even if I try to like take it off the napkin, it's still I can still taste it and I can't eat it. So. I hate that. I don't understand why they automatically put that garbage on. It's just the worst.
You don't even like ketchup or mustard?
I love ketchup. Mustard, I hate mustard.
I like mustard. There's a lot of condiments out there too. I saw something in the store recently, stone ground mustard. Stone ground mustard. Some poor bastards out there sitting on a stump cracking rocks together so you can have your freaking sandwich. Get out of here. What do we need like 800 kinds of mustard for?
I know. That's stupid.
There's too many mustards.
Yeah, too many mustards, too many animals. Get them all out of here.
Let's have some of those animals eat the mustards and get rid of them.
Right.
And extinct. We need to make some of these mustards go extinct.
Yes, I agree. Joe Fascia says, well, you said you're Russian. There's no way you don't like mayo. So here's the thing. Like, I'm like the fakest Russian ever. Now I was born here. My parents came to America 6 years before I was born. So like I'm kind of like naturalized American. I don't like Russian food. Like I like some, like borscht is fine. There's some other stuff that's okay. But like someone asked me on here, what's your favorite Russian food? It's like a couple weeks ago, I think. Maybe it was last week. And I'm like, I don't like borscht, I guess. Like it depends on how it's made. Like I really don't like Russian food. I like American food. I like Italian. I like Mexican. And that's about it. Like I really don't like Russian food. So like I'm a very fake Russian. I'm a very fake Russian. That's my point. So
I couldn't think of any Russian dish ever.
Well, borscht.
I know now.
You never heard of borscht before?
Oh, worst?
No, borscht. Borscht. You've never heard of borscht before?
Not until you told me about it.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, no.
What? Wow.
Oh, man, I'm not from Russia. I don't know.
No, it's like famous. Like it's like a famous thing. I don't know. It's
well, I mean, I think it speaks volumes about me then, huh?
Okay, I don't know. I mean, Pimeni is good. Yes, I agree. That's pretty good. I don't know if I count that as is that really technically Russian? But it is good. It's like it's noodles with meat inside, and you dip it into like marinara sauce. It's basically like spaghetti with meatballs. it's like the fancy Russian way of spaghetti meatballs. John says go to Five Guys. Yeah, Five Guys is awesome, but like he says, also you need to take a second mortgage. So expensive. Yeah, if I go to Five Guys, I'll get like a cheeseburger and a hot dog for myself, and I get like a mini cheeseburger and a hot dog for my wife, and it's like $35. Like what? Why is it so expensive?
Yeah, man. I've only been there like once or twice. I don't need to pay that much for a burger.
Yeah. It's
that's a Clue reference. See, I know some about Clue.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You have to before they announce the ending of Clue, you have to text me and tell me who you think did it. Because
okay.
Because Clue is a famous movie because it's the first movie, I think, or I should say at least one of the first movies that has multiple endings. Like they'll tell you, they'll be like, okay, this person did it, and then it'll say it could have happened this way, and then they'll have the second person did it, right? But then it'll say, but here's what really happened. And so once you get to here's what really happened, you'll have to text me what you think really happened.
Okay. All right. Well, I solemnly swear or affirm that I will watch it before next show.
So it's a national dish. Are you sure you're Russian? Well, I told you I'm fake Russian. That's what I need to say. I'm fake Russian. Jeff says, did I miss the announcement about the feedback contest weekly winner? I think feedback contest is yearly, if I'm not mistaken. No, feedback contest is a contest for our premium users only.
Okay.
So we just started that a few weeks ago. I think that's a yearly contest, not weekly. But definitely reach out to Dennis or send me an email so I can forward it to Dennis to make sure. Because if he said weekly, then I guess we'll have to pay it a weekly whenever, because like that's what the rule says. But I'm pretty sure the site says yearly, but I'm not 100% sure on that because that was his contest that he made for the premium users. So Jeff, send either me or Dennis an email and we'll get to the bottom of it. All right, so we can now move to the late afternoon games. We have 3 late afternoon games than the 2 night games. Broncos at the Raiders. I saw this line move to 5.5, which is I guess a slight concern, but the Sharps have been off this year, so I don't know how much of a worry it is. I talked about how bad the Raiders are. They are down three. They're down three. Their top three cornerbacks in this game, or three of the top four cornerbacks, including their best cornerback, Nate Hobbs. He's going to be out. So the Broncos passing game has been better. Like they just torched Atlanta. It feels like they should be able to do the same thing with the Raiders. And then you have Gardner Minshew, who's one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. Actually, probably the worst quarterback in the NFL among qualifiers this year against like when pressured. His completion percentage when pressured drops by like 30.3%. It's like insane.
Wow.
He's so bad, and he's an interceptions machine. We saw it against the Rams. He threw 3 picks. This guy just sucks. So I am betting his interceptions over. I think it's minus 145. But yeah, I mean, Denver gets after the quarterback a lot. Just seems like a nightmare matchup for Minshew. And against bad quarterbacks this year, the Broncos are 3-1 straight up and against the spread, which you would expect for a great defense. The only quarterback who's they didn't cover against was Justin Fields, and maybe you can argue that he's not a terrible quarterback because he can run. But yeah, I think passing wise is terrible, just not overall. Maybe he's not that terrible. So anyway, they've destroyed every other bad quarterback they played this year. So what are your thoughts on this game?
I mean, I love the Denver Broncos, and Bo Nix seems to be finding his stride just a little bit here. I am a big Bo Nix fan, as you know. The only argument I could possibly make for the Raiders are that sometimes these division games are close. I think this is going to play out a lot like the game against the Denver's win against the Saints on that Thursday night. Outside of a couple of lucky covers that the Raiders have had, they've shown me absolutely nothing that inspires the slightest bit of confidence in me. I think this will turn out a little bit like their game against the Saints. So I like Denver here.
Since week 4, the Raiders have covered 2 times. Those 2 games was the first one was 20-15 against the Rams, where they kicked a meaningless field goal at the end.
That was great.
Just to cover, it was Antonio Pierce covering the spread for his boosters. And then the following week, there was the second cover. It was garbage time backdoor against the Chiefs. Those are their 2 covers since week 4, since they traded Devontae Adams. That's horrible team. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know why the Sharps taking Arizona at Seattle. Not sure what to make this one. I like Arizona, but off a bye, like coming off wins off a bye, generally not a great thing, and generally not a great thing for Kyler Murray, who likes to play video games a lot, and I think the new Call of Duty's has come out, so maybe he's been busy doing that. But then again, to be fair, this is a good team now. They're well coached for the first time in Murray's career. He's well coached, so maybe he's gonna take his career more seriously. So yeah, I'm not gonna write off Arizona. And then for Seattle, it's gonna rain there, and Geno Smith, despite being Seattle's starting quarterback, is not good in the rain. So I would side with Arizona, but not a game I'm really eager to bet. I don't even like a player prop here. I do like Trey McBride. Sorry, I like Trey McBride. As Seattle is pretty bad against tight ends. We saw Kyle Pitts go off against them a few weeks ago. So what do you think about this one?
I like the Cardinals a decent bit, actually. Did you see that Bill Belichick was quoted as saying recently, earlier this week, I think it was, he said, you got to keep your eye on those Cardinals.
Okay.
You look at their schedule, they've lost to, here are the teams they've lost to. Buffalo, the Lions, the Washington Commanding Hockey Team, and the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
I think this team is pretty solid. Seattle, I feel like, I don't know. Seattle, I feel like never does what I want them to. I can't stand Seattle. I really can't. But and I don't know. I just feel like you for me, you don't really know what you're going to get with Seattle. At least that's how it's been for me this year. I don't know. I feel like the Cardinals could win this pretty handily. So I like him for maybe 2 units or so.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I definitely see that as the right side here. What I've got money line USC to Denver. Okay, yeah, well, yeah, that's awesome. So you could maybe even try to middle that or something. What do you think of Swift over 13.5 carries but under 52.5 rushing yards at plus 400? It's. I mean, you're going to be hoping that Minnesota doesn't establish a big lead, then he's not going to carry the ball. But I mean, it makes sense to go under 52.5 rushing yards because Minnesota is good against the run. will he get 13.5 carries like with this injury? I'm not sure. But at 4-1 odds, it's not a bad. I don't think it's a bad bet. So I wouldn't go crazy with it, but it might be worth a small.
Yeah, I wouldn't go. I feel like every time I look up, he breaks off like a decent like little gainer the last like few games. So it's like, I don't know, like there's a chance like that could go in like one shot.
I'm shocked he hasn't been injured yet this year. It's crazy. He's so injury prone, and he just hasn't missed action. So it's so weird. Yeah. Well, I just jinxed it. He's going to get hurt next week. This week. sorry, DeAndre. All right, so San Francisco or Green Bay Packers are now -5.5, or I saw a couple sixes out there because if you didn't hear, Brock Purdy's out. Not just him, Nick Bosa's out too. Trent Williams might miss this game. He didn't practice all week. I assume that we'll know at 3:00, or we might know a little bit earlier, but still by 3:00 we will know. It's a tough one. Like, I love backing backup quarterbacks on good teams, but like, are the Niners a good team? I just don't know. Like, this year they've blown so many games late this year. It doesn't seem like they're very, very well coached at all. Like, in game, I mean, like, Kyle Shanahan's good at preparing these teams, but in game decisions just awful. They're 28th in red zone offense. They just can't score, and their kicker sucks too, recently at least. And then like, without Williams, like, even if he plays, like, he might leave early. It's kind of like Nick Bosa did last week. Like, without Williams, this offense regresses so much because the rest of their offense line is not very good. And then defensively, they don't have Bosa, they don't have Travarius Ward, they don't have Drake Greenlaw, they don't have Talanoa Hufanga. Just this defense is kind of like a shell of its former self. It's still decent, but it's not like dominant. And so, like, I just wonder, like, is this a good team? I don't think it is. And so I would side with the Packers, but not crazy about the -5.5. Of course, if you're playing the Super Contest, then -2 is a free square. But -5.5 in real life, I think this is just a pass for me. What do you think?
I'll take the Packers. Let me tell you what's going to happen. They're going to beat the 49ers this time, and then they'll lose to them in the playoffs like they do every year. And then they'll do it again next year and the year after that. Now, I really don't see Green Bay losing this game. Their defense has regressed a little bit, but we have seen them play really, really well this year on that side of the ball. The only thing is, I just feel like these games are always close. I mean, they did beat the 49ers in the regular season a couple seasons ago they did. But, as a Packers, like, they never beat the 49ers. But I don't know. I just think they're too banged up this time around.
Yeah. I mean, this is a different Niner team than we've seen recently. It's just like they went from first in red zone offense to 28th. It's a huge difference. And I know McCaffrey's been out, but he hasn't looked the same either. He's come back, and I think he even said, like, he's not quite himself.
Yeah, you know what I do like in this game? I actually like 49ers defense or special teams touchdown, because I think that they're going to have to do, like, they might have to get a little unorthodox here to make something happen with all the injuries. I think there's a higher chance in this game given the circumstances.
Yeah.
And I'm not, and like, they're not really like a team that's going to roll over either. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean they can't get destroyed. But I don't know. I could see something kind of wacky happening, like broken play or like a fake punt or something. I think I will take 49ers defense or special teams touchdown. See how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, Kameki Eagle says Love going to throw another red zone interception.
There you go.
Probably, yeah. Maybe it goes back the other way.
Yeah, there you go. So
Pollyanna 5 receptions is +120. Plenty of checkdowns. I mean, what has he done? Let's see. How many receptions has he caught? He's caught 6 and 4 in his 2 games. So I think you're onto something here. Kittle is coming back. That's like the only positive for the Niners. But yeah, I think he gets a 5 +120. I think that's a plus money seems like a good bet. Sue says, I don't think Quacky is care for the Seahawks since they recovered the onside kick against his back.
Not since the Fail Mary 2 years prior.
Oh, yeah, that's true. A lot of bad blood there.
Yeah, sure. a whole lot. That's right.
All right, Sunday night, we have Eagles-Rams. Eagles are -3. I don't really have a strong take in this one. By the way, my same game parlay and player prop for this will be posted soon. We're going to work on that after the show's over. I like the Eagles a little bit here. I like their matchups. I think that The Rams are weak to the middle of the field, and then I think Dallas Goedert could do some work there. And then the Eagles' cornerbacks have been playing so well. Cooper DeJean and Quinion Mitchell. It feels like they should slow down Nakua and Kupp a little bit. So, I'm going to be I'm lean Eagles, but I think the spread is right where it should be. And I've been on both teams recently, so I'm not excited to fade either one. So who do you like this game?
I don't know. I'm probably not going to touch this one. This line seems a little bit weird. I like the Eagles, but that seems kind of trappy to me. I don't know. It seems the Eagles seem really easy in this spot, a little too easy. So I'm a little suspect of it. So I'll probably leave this alone.
Percentage of bets only 58% on the Eagles, so people aren't really taking it, which is I thought it'd be higher too, but it's not.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm inclined to take the Eagles here, but I'm hesitant because it seems too easy.
Okay, all right. Let's get to the final game, Monday night. Excuse me. Ravens at the Chargers. So Ravens were -3. Start the week, it's down to 2.5. Unfortunately, I was really hoping to get the 3 there. I wanted to see the final injury report, and by 5 o'clock, it still wasn't out yet. This is ridiculous because I was waiting for the Super Contest. The final injury report for the Monday night game is usually around 4 o'clock. It was 5:25, and it still wasn't posted. So I didn't even get to look at it because we submitted the Super Contest picks at 5:55. So it's just I don't know why it was so slow. Maybe it's because it's a West Coast game, but still, I mean, we've had other West Coast games. So I mean that's frustrating. But anyway, I guess there was some negativity on the Ravens injury report to make this move to 2.5. But I love the Chargers here. You have an underrated team. It feels like no one is giving the Chargers any credit. And the Ravens, I think, an overrated team because their defense is so bad and they can't block. And they're going against 2 edge rushers here. The Chargers are great against mobile quarterbacks. One of the best teams in the NFL against mobile quarterbacks. They have these 2 great edge rushers or edge players to kind of keep Jackson contained in the pocket. The last time they played the Ravens only scored 20 points. This was last year. The Ravens only scored 20 points, and Jackson only had 39 rushing yards. And that was a bad Charger team. The Chargers team that was not well coached either by Brandon Staley. The one thing. And then how many former Ravens coaches are on the Chargers staff? There is no team in the NFL that knows the Ravens better than the Chargers do. So all these advantages point to the Chargers. I wish we're still getting 3, but 2.5 is still good to me. I like the Chargers quite a bit. So what do you think about this one?
Harbaugh versus Harbaugh. They're going to do a little piece before the game with the parents, and they're going to wear half the jersey will be the Ravens and the other half will be the Superchargers, and they'll be like, so what's it like? One of your sons is going to win and one's going to lose. Do you hope it ends in a tie? Sort of nonsense. Yeah. Oh, God, I can't wait for it. Give me the Ravens here. Okay, so my buddy Jack is a diehard Superchargers fan. He said that they're 0-5 when they wear the Navy Color Rush uniforms, which is apparently the uniforms that they're planning on wearing for this Monday night matchup. So just based on that, because I don't know, this is an interesting game. I love the Superchargers just in general, but this seems a little bit weird. And then when I heard about the Color Rush record, stat, I was sold. I'm not going to touch this one, but I guess I'll go with the Ravens.
I am on an island with the Chargers. On Tuesday, Evan liked the Ravens. On Thursday, Andy liked the Ravens, and now you like the Ravens. No one else likes the Chargers.
Oh my God! If the Superchargers end up winning, you're going to shove it right in our face.
Yeah, I don't. Sure. Yes, I'll
yeah. You're going to text me right after the game, be like, "You were wrong, dummy."
Yeah. I'll send a mass chat text to all 3 guys.
Yeah.
The first text I send all 3 together at the same time. Showed you guys. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait for another Harbaugh.
Harbaugh. Yeah.
I love that. They're going to wear that. Remember, because they did that for the Super Bowl. Remember when the Ravens won?
Yeah. At least we've had that. I feel like there's not much hoopla. Although I guess it's been a while since they've coached against each other because Jim's been out of the league for a long time. By the way, everyone's I was oh, I like John. Give me the big brother. I'm for some reason Jim Harbaugh looks so much older than John Harbaugh. Doesn't he? I find it remarkable that John Harbaugh is the older brother.
I'm not sure I really put much more thought. I guess. Well, now I have to think about it. When's the last time I saw those guys?
How old
I
do
mean,
you think?
really took a look.
How old do you think John Harbaugh is?
Give me 1 second here.
Well, go look it up.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and say 60.
Okay, he's 62. I
was
would
gonna
have
guess 60.
guessed 54, 55.
Oh, really?
But that's just based on his looks. Like I obviously when people say he's older than Jim Harbaugh, like Jim Harbaugh is up there. So Jim Harbaugh is 60.
Jim Harbaugh is 60. Okay, that makes sense. Remember, what's crazy to think? This is a good trivia question to ask your buddies and stuff. Who was the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts before Peyton Manning? It was Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, I thought you were going to ask me like with Jim Harbaugh in mind, like hey, we're talking about Jim Harbaugh. Who do you think was the last quarterback? I love that happens. No, I do remember that. The Colts were awful that year.
Yeah, I remember.
Obviously, the Colts got the number 1 pick, and they were going to take Ryan Leaf, and then Ryan Leaf basically decided to sabotage this draft stock by not taking a meeting with the Colts owner, and so the Colts. Everyone, like, the stupid ESPN thing is always like, oh, the Colts took Manning because Manning said, if you don't take me, I'll beat you. It's like, no, the Colts were going to take Ryan Leaf, and then Ryan Leaf was like, F you, I'm going to San Diego. So they got stuck into taking Peyton Manning, which ended up working out.
I saw, when I say recently, maybe within the last, I don't know, like 5 to 8 years, Ryan Leaf was on the Dan Patrick show, and Dan Patrick had a Ryan Leaf Colts jersey hanging on the wall. I thought that's very unique memorabilia. Ryan Leaf is quite an inspiration. I watched some of his stuff on YouTube. Like, he's really like turned his life around completely. It's a really interesting story. I actually look up to the man in a way. It's really interesting. But I thought that Ryan Leaf Colts jersey was a really unique piece of memorabilia.
Yeah,
so, Washington State.
It was a short-lived career. Like, I mean, he had such great talent. It's a shame that he just succumbed to his demons. But yeah, he has overcome a lot. He's so it's cool. It's just a shame that we lost such a potentially great NFL career. But yeah, Sandra not with me either. I don't get it. I don't get why people like the Ravens. I just don't see it. I really don't get, like, for me, I think the Chargers should be favored by 2.5 or 3. I really don't get this. I don't understand why people like the Ravens. Like, it's just like people telling me, oh no, like sun rises in the west. Like, that's the sort of like level I am here. Like, I don't get it. Like can you, outside of like color rush, can you explain to me why you like the Ravens?
No, the sun sets in the east.
Sun rises.
I'm just kidding. The sun revolves around the earth, right? I don't know. I don't know. I guess I don't have much of an opinion. It's just that color rush thing is weird. I love I love the Superchargers and the song. I love singing the song. Every week they win, I sing along. I play the song and I sing along. 7 times I've done it now.
Okay.
Just alone in my room here. Oh, by the way, shoot, which game is I'm up here in Tottenham right now. I forgot to tell you, I'm like man on the street here for Walt. Which game is in London this week? I forgot to check. I just got a ticket out here.
It is it's usually the second game on the slate, so it would be Lions Colts.
Wait, so they're playing in England?
Yes.
No, you're gonna miss those England games, aren't you?
I'm so glad they're over. I like nothing. I didn't like nothing bothered me more than those London games. Like, usually I don't like. Usually stuff doesn't bother me, and I don't really care. Like I'm pretty mellow. Like, people say that all the time about me. Like dude, you just don't care. Including my my wife always says this. She's like, Walt has one emotion, and it's Walt.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I don't get too high. I don't get too low. Like, people like tell me this. I'm like the best secret keeper ever. Like, people will tell me like this like inside info. They're like, don't tell anyone. I'm like, okay, I will never tell a soul. My dad said that Walt should be like the FBI or something, like, because like he'll never allow like anything to get out. And like my wife, like, she'll be like I'll have like friends who tell me this like gossip stuff or whatever. And then I won't even tell her. I won't tell anyone because like if someone tells me like don't tell anyone, like I'll never tell anyone.
Right. No,
And so it'll come out like 6 months later, and she's like, "Did you hear about this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I knew that like 6 months ago." And and she's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" I'm like, "Well, they told me not to."
Yeah. No,
So
that's
anyway,
very admirable. It's very admirable.
so anyway, my point is I'm so even keeled on this stuff, but I like so there's not much I hate, and like I hate the European games. I like I wish you watched Clue. So I could watch flames coming out of my ears, heaving breasts. I forget what she said, but Mrs. White near the end of these is great. Anyway, heaving breasts. And no, for many reasons. Like one, it's a 2 hour sleep for me because I have to go to bed 6 or 6:30. I have to get up around like close to 9, so 2.5 hours sleep. I'm fine on 4. 4.5 hours is fine. Like I'm 4.5 to 5 hours is like ideal for me. But like 2.5 hours, it just sucks. Like I'm dreary the whole day. Like I just miss stuff. Like one Sunday I missed entering my fantasy lineups just because it was so early that I was just so out of it and just I was so tired and I just forgot. And I'll miss other stuff. Like I'll miss type stuff. I'm like falling asleep on my computer by the halfway point of the 4 o'clock games. And then like on a business note, we get less traffic on Sunday London games or European games than we do normally because our biggest 2 hours of traffic are 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Sunday mornings because people are going to the site and seeing what I have to say about the final thoughts and what I'm betting, etc. But if there's a game on TV, people are watching the game instead of going to my site. So like we lose out on a lot of revenue. So and also like I feel like the networks who run their Sunday morning shows, like they have to be pissed about that. Like their ratings must be in the tank when that happens. Like it just like it feels like everyone loses out on this, and the fans in America lose out. Like these fans, like like Chicago lost a home game to Jacksonville, or they're playing Jacksonville, so they lost a home game in London. Like if I'm a Bears fan, I'm super pissed about that. Like I wanted to go to this game. Like why can't I go to this game? Like why do these London people get this game? Like if it's just once a year with Jacksonville hosting, I think I'd be okay with it. But like they keep adding these games, like 4 or 5, and then Goodell wants to get more. He wants to double the number of European games. Like it's just awful. Like why are you giving games away to other countries? I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Well, I just like watching football all day, but no, there's definitely merit to what you're saying, of course. But yeah, plus it interferes with your sleep.
Well, why don't we have games in Australia that start at 11 p.m.? If they're going to do that, like why don't we go the other way? Like that'd be better for me. It'd be better for my traffic too because we get the bump before the game too. Like on Sunday, if they want to add the international games, if they want to go all day, have a midnight game that starts in Australia.
I'll go out. I'll be the eyes on the street if you want. I was in Munich 2 weeks ago. I'll go out there for us. Yeah.
We have Ben Wassley in Australia. I don't want to take that.
Okay, well, I can be. Yeah, it's okay. But if you need a backup, let me know.
Okay, for sure.
I don't know if I'd want to go there, man. There's a lot of scary animals there.
Well, there are other animals that you can eliminate.
I don't want to eliminate any animals.
You are truly the Disney villain here.
No, I want to get rid of the mustards. We can get rid of some of the mustards.
Okay. Well, all right. So you're the villain in the cartoon where like the ketchup and the mustard, they're like animated and like they're like all happy and they're having meetings together and it's like Tom enters the building. It's like, oh no, it's Tom. He wants to eliminate the condiments.
Yeah, they know. There's like I'm like the condiment poacher.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm
to them. I'm like Terminator.
Yeah. Exactly. Joe Flo, another $4.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Joe Fashion. Thank you. Thank you so much for the second super chat. It says you guys mentioned before you don't really parlay. Well, I do same game parlays for the night games, so we do that. But give this rookie betting wife a good 2 or 3 game parlay. Thanks.
I like that. Other than some of the sides I mentioned, and I can get into maybe the ones I like the most. I like that. I'm thinking about it. That Colts Lions under.
Okay.
I think that would be maybe an interesting leg to throw in there. But like if you're, I'll tell you what, this would be if you're the type of person that wants to put like I don't know, like 8-legger parlays together, 8-leg parlays
Mhm.
and that sort of thing. I think there's some like you could throw in like some teams money lines, like the Bucks money line, the Texans money line, the Broncos money line. Like I think those are probably even Chiefs. Like I think those are pretty good, especially like Bucks and Texans, considering their opponents. So like those, I think those would be pretty. And the Washington Hockey Club too. Like they're not very unlikely they're going to lose. Those teams are going to lose those games. So consider that as well, maybe.
I'll say this about money line parlays. I just to echo what Evan says on Tuesdays is that if you're going to parlay money line parlay games at different times, you might as well just bet the money line on the favorite and then roll it over to the next game and then roll it over until to the next one after that, because you will get a better payout doing that. But if they're at the same time, it's a little more difficult to do that. So
Okay.
for the part my favorite games this week are the Redskins, the Buccaneers, the Broncos, and the Patriots. But if you want 2 or 3, I would say Redskins, Buccaneers, and Broncos. And the 2 occur early, so if you win the first 2, you can maybe try to middle the third game by like maybe in-game betting it or something. So if, like the Broncos get out to like a 17-0 lead, maybe you take like the Raiders at plus 17.5 or something, and then like try to middle that too. So that's something you could do as well. So that's what I would do. But yeah, I don't like multi-game parlays, but same-game parlays are fun. It's just as long as you don't go crazy, because generally like not worth the payout.
Agreed. I'll do some parlays here and there, but typically I don't. I go pretty small on them, because they'll eat you up quick, and like all you have to do is hit one, and you're like, oh, like I can really make money off it. They're so hard to hit.
Yeah,
it really it seems like in theory, like, oh, that wouldn't be like picking 3 teams, like it's hard.
Yeah.
So.
Joe Fresh, take someone you like and parlay to the Redskins and Chiefs money lines. Yeah, you could do that too. Yeah, I think that has a great chance of hitting. Goodell wants to have 8 international games next year. I'm guessing 17 by 2026. Well, I hope they are in Australia at midnight, and so I can laugh at other people, because I had to get up early. Now other people have to stay up late. So I hate it. I really hate it.
Dude, if they do expand like that, maybe I could be like the Walter Football Russia district. I could move out there, and then I could have some burst. What do you call it? Burst?
Boy, you've never. I can't believe you never heard of borscht. I'm shocked by this.
Yeah, but I could be Walter Football Russia district. And then when they have the games, I'll be the eyes on the ground, man. People eat it up. People want to see more Quacky on the international games. I think they loved it a couple weeks ago, and I wasn't even at the game. I was just there.
Just watch it. just be careful of the skinhead gangs in Russia. It's pretty bad.
Okay, maybe I won't go.
Our former editor Ryan, he before he worked for me, he lived in Russia for like 2 years, and like he's like, man, there are a lot of skinhead gangs here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's crazy. Don't take away the hot mustard. They have Chinese barbecue pork.
Remember the hot mustard they used to have at McDonald's? Do they still have that? I haven't seen that there. I haven't been looking for it either. But.
I don't know. I haven't gone to McDonald's.
We'll keep the hot mustard and the honey mustard, but all the other mustard, yellow mustard too. All the other ones, Dijon and all the fancy Grey Poupon and all this nonsense. No, like 5 mustards max. That's all you get. We don't need that many. Pick the ones you want, and that's what we're sticking with. So
okay. Interesting. I love the over in this game. Colts home and Lions always score. Period. Why under?
That's why, because I think it seems easy. Yeah, I think everyone expects that the Lions are just going to, run a clinic on them, and they definitely could, but I'm not so sure. The Lions have, what's the over, 50.5? The Lions have scored like 50, a few 50 burgers this year.
Yeah.
And some 40s too, if I'm not mistaken, and it's just like, I think it looks really easy to me. I just don't think that game's going to go that way. Like, I'm thinking it might be like 27-21 or something. Like, it might be close, but like, I don't know. I don't know.
I'll tell you why I like the under. Detroit in defensive EPA is ranked 4th. Indianapolis in defensive EPA is ranked 8th. And then neither team is ranked in the top 10 of offense. Detroit is 12th in offense, and Indianapolis is 29th in offense. So you have two defenses that are better than their offenses, and this line is the total is 50.5 or 50. Just seems like an easy under, but then again, I hate totals because like weird turnovers could swing it so easily. So
I have a weird feeling about this game, man. It could maybe be like 17-14 or something. I really like the under now, actually.
yeah,
I'm definitely going to take it. And you all know I'm not like Walt. I don't get too into the totals myself, but I don't know. And and the Lions could win, 52 to 21.
yeah.
I mean, but I don't know. I think under's the move here.
Yeah,
I think under's the move. So
yeah. There's a reason books promote GameStop, same game parlays nonstop.
I never take any of those pre-made. Like try this.
I know.
Like I never take one.
They're
getting on hard.
Sometimes they do hit. Yeah, sometimes they do hit. I saw one of those pre-made ones for it was like line. It was last week. It was like first quarter lines minus 3.5, second quarter lines minus 3.5, third quarter lines minus 3.5, fourth quarter lines minus 3.5. And I'm pretty sure that hit. I think I saw that pre-prepared. I'm gonna check to make sure that hit. Like the Lions had to win by 4 in every quarter. Yeah, they did. Yeah, so that one hit. Yeah, so it does hit sometimes.
Hard Rock, I'm looking at it right now. They're really getting creative over here. I haven't seen like an 11 bet parlay, like money line parlay. Washington Commanding Club, Eagles, the Buccaneers, Broncos, Cardinals, Dolphins, Vikings, Lions, Texans, 49ers, and Chiefs, all money line pays 75 to 1. And they're saying 10,600 people have bet that already. Dude, they're going to...
I don't think 10,000 people bet it. I think that's a made up number. They always have that, like 5,000 people bet this. I'm willing to bet that's not the case.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean... Like maybe I don't know, just like the pre-made ones, and even like a lot of my buddies will like oh, like this team's boosted, like a team that's like maybe already like a public favorite, and they're boosted. Like people will be like, I like the other way now, but that's not always the case. Sometimes of course not. Like sometimes you get boosted, and you gotta, and then it does hit, So,
so Slew saying if Trump buys Greenland, which he definitely should do, they can have a game there. That would be the best home field advantage ever, wouldn't it? Like it is currently 22 degrees in Greenland right now. I'm sure different parts of the country are worse. This Sunday or next Sunday is going to be 18. It's a crisp 18 degrees on Sunday. So
oh my God,
imagine that home field advantage. It's not even December yet. So Kimmy can Eagle that locked in with Tampa money line Tampa with it. Okay. Detroit caught the perfect storm of playing a dying team in Jacksonville. Indy will be trying in this game. Yeah, I 100% agree. Like this is, I'd be shocked if it's, well, I shouldn't say shocked because Detroit's a great team. I'd be a little surprised if it's a blowout. Like I do think it'll be close. Now it can be obviously, but I like the Colts have not lost by more than 10 this year, so I think it'll be close. So let's see. Ravens are minus 2.5 on FanDuel with minus 118 big. Yeah, it's the Sharps that taking this down to 2.5. I badmouth the Sharps taking the Raiders, but the Sharps have not done well this year. The Sharps have been on the Jets nonstop. I don't know why. It just feels like they're just caught up in this. Remember, they're like nonstop on the Broncos last year, including this.
Oh yeah.
They took them in that 70-10 game. The Sharps were on Denver in that game. It feels like it's 2 weeks bad. The Sharps have lost a lot of money recently. I don't know.
That 70-20 game, that was horrible.
70-20, not 17.
Yeah, that was oof.
Yeah. Is the best live bet when Shanahan goes up 2 scores, bet the opponent in the points. Yeah, 100%. Also, bet the Chiefs if they're down. The Chiefs always come back when they're down. Yeah. So yeah, if they have a stinky first half, bet them in the second half. Or if they have a great first half, bet against them at halftime. I think it usually works. All right, Tom, do you think it's time?
I think so. All right. Well,
we'll switch screens here. I will enlarge this a little bit. So yeah, so it will still answer football questions. So if you guys have them, just post them. But
Right.
all right. So I saw this video. I thought it was so cool. They got the Mega Man 2, one of my favorite games of all time. I know you used to speed run Mega Man X.
That's right.
But I assume you also played Mega Man 2 and 3 and the originals on NES, right?
Absolutely. And 2 and 3 are two of my favorite games of all time as well.
Yeah. For me, 2 was my all-time favorite. And then I would go 3 after that. But I mean, all of them are so great. I thought, yeah. So basically, if you're not familiar with this, Mega Man 1 through whatever, there's so many of them. Basically, you play a robot, and you get to pick. Your fights against these robots. There's in Mega Man 2. There's Airman, Heatman, Bubble Man, Metal Man, Quick Man, Crash Man, Wood Man, Flash Man. So you can go to each stage, and then at the end of the stage, you fight one of these robots. If you kill the robot, then you get their weapon, and then you use their weapon on other robots. So, for example, Metal Blade works the best against Bubble Man. So if you beat Metal Man, you get his Metal Blade, which is the best weapon in the game, and then you use it to kill Bubble Man, and then when you have Bubble Lead, use it to kill Heat Man, and so on and so forth. So you get to like picking the order in which you fight these robots is important. But if you're in for a challenge, then you don't use any of these weapons, and you just go regular Cannon Buster and try to beat the game that way, which I've done with Mega Man 2.
Have you really?
Yeah. You need the weapons in some cases, like to beat the turrets in Wily 4. You need Crash Bomb.
Right.
So yeah, obviously you have to do that there. But when you don't need the weapons, I beat the game with just the Buster.
Even the Dr. Wily alien, you didn't use Bubble Lead?
No, I used the regular thing.
Wow, that's pretty impressive, man. Because Bubble Lead gets him in like 2 or 3 shots.
It does. Wait, that's the easiest boss in the game. He just does an infinity sign. That's all he does. It's the easiest thing to avoid. It's just such a bit disappointing boss. The turrets are the worst boss in the game.
Oh, the Crash Man. Yeah, those are horrible.
If you misfire once, you're dead. You can't beat it without Crash Bombs. And so like if you don't have enough Crash Bombs, you can't beat the boss. Like you literally can't. It's a horrible boss.
For those of you that ever use Game Genie in the past, if you use Game Genie like infinite energy or like infinite health, and if you mess up that shot, you're done. The game's over.
Yeah,
because you
can't use Bubble Miss Wily. Then if you had to use the weapon, then I did it. I remember like just beating the game like not like whenever I didn't need to use the weapons, I didn't use them.
Yeah.
So real quick, if you could bet next week's NFL, I really like Seattle plus 1.5 against the Jets. Yeah, me too. And then Philly on Philly plus 3 on a 6-point teaser, so up to 9 against the Ravens. Seahawks are still plus 1.5. We'll see about that. If Seattle loses, like you might get 2 or 2.5, so it might be even better. I guess you bet it now if you like Seattle this week. If you think Seattle's going to lose, then you can wait. So the whole point of this is like they made these boss battles fight each other, like not just Mega Man versus the Airman or Mega Man versus Heatman. They'd have like the first bracket here is Airman versus Heatman, and so they would fight each other. And so I thought it was so cool to like try to guess who would win these battles, and I wanted to bring it up to you because if you didn't see this, like you might be surprised by who's going to win this, and it's a fun bracket. So they had like Airman versus Heatman, the Bubble Man versus Metal Man, then Quick Man versus Crash Man, and then Wood Man versus Flash Man. In addition to them fighting once each time, they also did a video series where each robot fought 20 times against the other, and so they recorded how many times each robot won each battle. So for example, if Airman and Heatman, I'm not saying this is the correct number, but like if Airman beat Heatman 13 times, it would be 13-7. So they did that. So I wanted to ask you, I was gonna make spreads for each matchup. And I wanted to see how accurate you would be in predicting how these robots would fight against each other. And then we'll go up the bracket, and then I could tell you. And then you could guess the winner at the end. You ready?
Yeah, okay. Hit me with it. Give me the first one.
All right, so Heat Man versus Airman. I'm gonna set the line at Airman minus 2.5. So who wins Airman versus Heat Man minus 2.5? Airman minus
Give me Heat Man plus 2.5 because you remember he does like the teleportation thing where like Airman kind of stands his ground, and I think Heat Man could get him with the because his fire torch or whatever, atomic fire or whatever the weapon's called, kind of stays on the ground, kind of slinks along. I'll take Heat Man plus 2.5.
Yeah, you're 1-0. So
Nice.
Heatman beat Airman 18-2.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, complete destruction. Funny enough, Airman beat every other boss by margin. I should say, by like 11-9 or better. Airman was the best robot, except against Heatman. Heatman was his foil. He could not beat Heatman.
Mm-hmm.
So
wow, that's really. I thought it would be pretty close. Well, I'm pretty proud of myself then.
There you go. So you're 1-0. All right. Okay. So Metal Man versus Bubble Man. So I'm gonna set the line at Metal Man minus 17.5. Because as we know, the Metal Blade beats the Bubble Man.
It's out of 20, right?
Yes.
Give me Metal Man minus 17.5.
Actually, Metal Man beat Bubble Man 17-3.
No, that's not. I want to recount. That can't be. There's no way that Bubble Man beat him 3 times.
3 times, yeah, 3 times out of 20. It's funny.
Right, well, I lost one by half a point. Then I can't believe that. I can't believe that. Nothing trumps Metal Man in that game. It's the best weapon, the best maybe the best music in all Mega Man. I'd say. I mean, Flash Man's music is good too, but Metal Man's music is epic. It's definitely in the top 5 of all time.
I have to disagree. I think Dr. Cossack 3-4 and Mega Man 4 is the best Mega Man music, in my opinion.
Wait, who's?
Dr. Cossack. And then you get to have Borscht at the end.
I haven't played 4 in so long. I'd have to hear it again. 2 and 3 had some of the best music. Yeah, X had some good music.
2, 3, and 4, I thought. Well, one had good music too, but 2, 3, and 4. I thought 4 was very underrated for music. But yeah, Dr. Cossack 3 and 4, I think iconic music, and it's been remade so many times. It's so good. And then yeah, it's the Russian mad scientist at the end, and like it was because you think he's the main bad guy, but like he was only being bad because Dr. Wily kidnapped his daughter and forced him.
Oh right. Jeez, it's been so long. I haven't played that one in a long time.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm 1-1 here.
Okay, all right. So we have Quick Man versus Crash Man. Let's set the line at Quick Man minus 1.5.
Boy, Quick Man minus 1.5. Mm-hmm. Wait, doesn't his stuff? The thing is about Quick Man is he's so quick. I mean, and Crash Man's weapon is slow, but if it hits you, then it can do a lot of damage. You said Quick Man was minus 1.5?
Yeah.
Give me Quick Man.
Okay, so you're right. However, there's a twist to this. Quick Man beat Crash Man 14-6, but in this bracket, Crash Man actually won. It was one of the upsets. So Crash Man was actually going to move on to the second round, but Quick Man did beat him 14-6.
So I'm still 2-1 though here.
You're 2-1, yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Okay, all right. Let's get to the last of the first round. Woodman versus Flashman. I'm going to set Woodman at minus 15.5.
You got to go Woodman. I mean, what did Flashman's weapon ever do other than just freeze the time? Like, I don't think you can actually like hurt somebody with it, can you? So I definitely got to take Woodman.
What if I made this line Woodman minus 19.5?
I think I would have taken it. Yeah.
He beat him 20-0.
Yeah, nice.
Flashman. So, like I said before, they had these robots fight each other 20 times. Flashman did not beat a single robot in any of the best of 20s. In fact, there was in one of the fights, I can't remember who it was against. It might have been Heatman. There was in all 20 fights, Flashman did not even damage one of the robots.
Yeah,
he was so bad. Like he's so bad. All he does is walk back and forth. That's all he does, and just shoots and stop time for a little bit. But like I actually think it was Bubble Man because Bubble Man like swims up, and so like what would happen is like Flashman would stop time, but Bubble Man's up in the air, like because he's like swimming up, and so he would just miss him, and then like Bubble Man just shoot the bubbles at him and hit him every time. It was pathetic.
Wow.
Yeah, it was so funny.
I love
All right,
it.
okay, so we go to the second round now. We have Heat Man versus Metal Man. And I'm going to set this line at Metal Man -2.5.
Well, I'm going to take Metal Man because I don't think that Heat has any. I think it's one of the weaker weapons against Metal Man. Not that anyone would use it because you get beat Metal Man pretty early and Heat Man's later. But his weapon is very weak. Heat Man's weapon is very weak against Metal Man. I'm going to take Metal Man -2.5.
Okay, you are now 3-2. It was a 10-10 tie, actually. These robots are so close. It was like within one hit of each other. Like they were so close. And in this bracket, actually, Heat Man beat Metal Man. So it was very close.
I don't know that I agree with that, but
you could watch the fights.
All right.
It's on video.
All right, yeah, I gotta see this video. I gotta watch this video.
Yeah, that's really good. I would recommend it. All right, the second of the semifinals, we have Crashman versus Woodman. I'm gonna make Crashman -2.5 as well.
I don't know. Crashman's weak against Airman's. You know what? I don't know. I don't really think Woodman's weapon is that good. Actually, give me Crashman. Give me Crashman.
So here's the thing. Woodman just utterly destroyed Flashman because his wood shield just deflected everything Flashman was doing. Crashman, his weapon is not deflected by Woodman's shield. Funny enough. So so Crashman won this 20-0.
Really?
Yeah. Woodman didn't stand a chance because his wood shield did nothing against him.
That's awesome. So I'm 4-2.
You're 4-2.
This is great.
All right. Well, here's the big one: the championship. Crashman versus Heatman. We have Heatman as a -1.5 favorite.
Give me Crashman. I think his weapon is just too at this point. Heatman. If you're gonna tell me I'm wrong here, I got to take Crashman +1.5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What do we got?
Crashman beat Heatman 13-7.
Yes.
There you go.
So I finished 5-2. That's pretty good.
5-2. Yeah. Good job. You're ready, man.
Some of those were. Yeah, it's a real hit at parties and stuff,
Well, some girls are into playing video games.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's like a unicorn almost, but
absolutely. There's some out there.
No, no, for sure. This channel has so much. Like they had like a round, like a battle royale between the Mega Man 1 robots and the Mega Man 2 robots. And so like when one would die, the other would take its place, and so like they'd keep fighting. They had Mega Man. They had Quick Man take on Super Mario 1-1 stage. So they actually had Quick Man go through the whole stage, and he
that's cool.
In the first run, he actually runs into a Goomba and dies.
Oh, that's cool. I will have to check that out.
You should check out the channel; it's really good. So,
all right, awesome,
yeah.
Awesome. Good
I was hoping they'd have some Mega Man X versus Mega Man 2. I think that'd be great. But maybe,
I'd love that.
They're still producing new videos, so maybe that'll happen in the future. So, all right, I guess that's about it for the show. My favorite gamer girl, Skylar. Nice one, Chris.
He's high on my list too.
Special place in my heart. Anyway, I was about to say this girl. I used to know this girl. She was in high school, and like I always thought she was pretty hot. But I never really I never talked to her that much. I guess I should have because she was on the swim team. I was captain of the swim team. Like, you'd think I would. I don't know. It's never like interacted with her. She wasn't on like the main team. She was on the JV team. So I don't know. I never.
Yeah.
I don't know. Plus, I was like I don't know, pretty timid with girls in high school. But I saw her at Penn State. I bumped into her once. She was 2 years behind me. So I was no, she was 1 year behind me. So I was a sophomore. I saw her as a freshman. Oh no, 2 years. So yeah, I was a junior and she was a freshman. I saw her. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you were going here. And so she was actually wearing a shirt that was like the Nintendo controller.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I was like, for some reason, I didn't like pursue it or anything because like for me, when I bumped into her, I was like, oh, it's cool to see you again. It wasn't even like the mindset of like, hey, you want to hang out? Sometimes I should have, and I was kicking myself like later that day. I'm like, wait, why didn't I ask her like to hang out or anything? Like it's good. That's so stupid. It's just like so.
I've had moments like that myself.
Yeah. So I
So
mean, whatever. I like anytime I'm like, I think to myself like, oh yeah, I could have scored with this girl or something. And I think about like, everything that led me to having my kids now, and I wouldn't trade my kids for anything.
right.
So like I can't even do that anymore. So like for like maybe it was just meant to be that it didn't happen.
Right,
So,
for sure. Yeah, it's an
yeah,
interesting way to look at it. I think about stuff like that all the time too.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, cool,
Yeah,
man.
100%. So yeah, good luck to you too, Kimmy Eagle. Good luck to
Yeah,
everyone.
likewise.
Yeah, hope you guys hit all your bets tomorrow. And yeah, thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Thanks for commenting, and thank you to Dro Fascio for
Yeah, thank you.
2 times for $4.99. I really appreciate it. This keeps the show going because these YouTube ads pay nothing. So any super chats you guys give us is just really appreciated. So please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. Quacky, do you have anything to plug? Maybe your Twitch channel.
Yeah, I'm still I haven't been on in a long time, but yeah, come on, join the fun whenever I decide to get back on there. If I'm in there ranting and playing Rocket League. So, but always great to see everybody. We have a great time, and Walt, thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, always love having you on. We'll be back on Tuesday with Evan, and then full schedule next week, despite Thanksgiving. I don't know if we're going to have a. Actually, I'll say for sure. I think we will have a guest on Thursday, no matter what, because it might be Andy, and if it's not Andy, I think we have a backup prepared just in case Andy can't do the show. So yeah, full slate next week, no matter what. So tune in then. But yeah, like Can't Make It a Goal said, we're going to echo it. Good luck to everyone. And if you guys are away next week, happy Thanksgiving in advance. So, all right, guys, have a great night, and I'll talk to you later.